Hi there guys, and welcome to another Train Sim 2017 video. Today you join me in something slightly different. I have done a video of this on my channel months and months and months ago, and it was a crap video when I just started, so I thought I owed this thing a little bit more time. And considering on my way back doing a very similar journey on Sunday, I saw two of these actually. So some of you will have already guessed, and you'll have known from the screenshot, we are in the Class 800. Or the 801. Is it the 801? I think it's going to be the East Coast one. It's the 800. I think it's 800. In this livery, which is the only reskin I can find available for it. And to be fair, I actually think this looks slightly better than the Azuma livery that's on them for the East Coast. It's a little bit reflects a little bit more the livery that's on the 91s. It's relatively nice. We've got 67 in Thunderbird. This is just a quick drive, by the way. This is the DP Simulations Newcastle to York. This is the version, where's the 1.6, I think it is. This is with the stuff from the DP Simulations website, so it's not just the workshop version. So the quick drive and stuff are all from that. It's a lovely model of Newcastle Station, and having just spent a good couple of hours here on Sunday, I can vouch for it. I was actually sitting just on this set of benches here. That was quite cool. I literally was just here. There's like a glass domey thing here, like a glass waiting room bit there, little sheltery things over there that have sort of been modelled by them. And I think there's holes here that you can see through archways, as we saw the Pacers, and 156 actually in the new Northern livery. So apart from that, actually the route's really nice. What we've got coming in, 220s, perfect. Right, let's get going. York in 79.90 miles in this. It's the 801. I've got 801 on the side. I thought they were 800. What? Go away. It's got a DSD. What actually works in this and what doesn't? Good question. I can't really remember. Headlight switch works. Let's put them on. Oh, so you've got markers only, off, full, and dimmed. I like that. That's quite nice. Hazard button doesn't work. None of the fans, although no, none of this does. Reading light does seem to work. And desk illumination we will have on as well. Actually, that's quite nice. Is that on full first? Or does it just do that one? Yeah, there we go. Over here on this panel we have the signal bell, which doesn't work, door releases which don't work, train control, interlock light seems to work, CCTV event doesn't do anything, line vault liners on, safety systems isolated. I've already had the DSD, so that's not completely correct. VCB and auto drop into them. I'm in neutral, go away! And snow brake doesn't either. The emergency brake does. The reverser does. No. Oh, and the master key does as well. Let's turn that off, it might stop the... Oh, that's quite nice actually. Of course the power handle works, nothing on TVWS panel. DRA does work. Nothing on the ATP Speedo. Right, these do work. So if we look like that, it's closed. If I click that, it now opens up. And if I can click this and be out, watch it close up there. So that does work. Couple buttons, don't expect those to be there. Sander button does work. Train wash doesn't. ETCS acknowledge doesn't. AWS acknowledge does. Same issues with the door control panel of that side. Signal bell doesn't work. Pan up button does. I like that. Have I just lost line like that? No. Pan down. Excellent. What? Shut up. Wipers do. And the emergency brake up there. Nothing on the GSMR panel. Nothing behind us. Secondary seat. Oh, that's quite pretty. No, nothing there either. Oh, even get a seat here. Look at that. Oh, I like that. Alright. Let's get going. So, I saw one of these in Great Western livery and one in plain white on the East Coast Main Line the other day. Chris was actually giving me an update as I was travelling down, and we were not far out of Stoke Bank, I think, when this passed us. So it was just a bit of a white streak passed by the window, but I did get to see the front of the 801 at Doncaster. The 802, is it? The Great Western Rail one. Do you know, I really should have looked this up, because there'll be people in there telling me exactly what it is now. So I'm going to look up the difference now. See, I still really want to call this a IEP, which was the Intercity Express program, which is what these all started out to be. So it's the 800-1s and 800-2s that will be going to East Coast. So they are going to be. That's fine. Class 800s. Or the 800 series. So yeah, these started off as the IEP years and years ago, or the before that it was the Super Express project. This thing's got rapid acceleration. I don't know what they're going to be like in real life. I haven't actually spoken to any drivers that have had their hands on them yet. I'd be quite keen to hear, so if any of you guys have had first-hand experience of these, please by all means let us know what they're like. As much as they will be the demise of the HSTs and the 91 sets and Mark 4 sets, and I don't think that's full. I think they're keeping a few. As much as they are going, though. Oh, stutter. As much as they are going, I can deal with these things coming in, as long as they don't have ironing board seats. Actually, that's one thing we haven't looked at. We do have a passenger here. Might have ironing boardy like seats. Yeah. It's nice to see it has a passenger view that somebody's made an effort with as well. It's quite nice. I do really like this route considering it's freeware. So I mean, it gives you the feel of the route very, very nicely. I always find the way with sort of train sim routes, the way I think you should capture people's minds is see if you get the first sort of mile or two out of stations pretty bang on, and then every sort of major landmark in between that, right. God, this is starry as hell today. You'll pretty much nail a route. Because I mean, like I always say, I look at everything when I'm out on the train. And I do. I don't tend to sleep on trains. But you sort of keep your eye out the windows for the first bit, didn't you? Like quite often. And you really take it all in. But once you've been going for sort of 10 or so minutes, you sort of eyes gaze to other things, don't they, I suppose. I definitely don't think you're as attentive as you are in the first sort of 10 minutes of the journey. And of course, any sidings or works or anything like that, make sure you've got something in there, right, because everybody likes to see that. So when we passed here the other day, there was actually a 325 in here, which I was really pleased to see. I did a scenario not that long ago where somebody had put like a bazillion 325s in. And yes, I say bazillion as in there were loads. If you go and find... I can't even remember what video it was. I'll try and put it in the description if I remember to. Now, these things were first conceived, they were meant to have all sorts of bells and whistles. They were meant to tilt, they were meant to do everything. And now I don't think they do. I think even the first one that was on Trainspotting was called the Super Express program, and that had tilt stuff on it. Yeah, I think we should just sort of start taking these things in. They're going to be here. They are the future, whether we kind of like it or not. I find it real hard saying that, if I'm honest. I mean, I grew up with the 91s and the 43s, like a lot of you guys did. I mean, my demographic at the minute is about 40% of all you viewers are between the ages of 25 and 40 or something. Now, so that means you guys all sort of did grow up in the same sort of time I did. This is going to be a bit like the end of Steam for me. It's going to bland the network out pretty massively. I mean, I already think Zeros pretty much did that. The 350s down to the there were Electrostars, the 377s, all of that. Now we've got even Cambridge. I'm even covered in them with 387s, 379s, and all that sort of rubbish. Yeah, they do the job, but they're very, very samey. And that's what this is going to look like, I feel, with the Great Western having the same, and the East Coast having the same. Do you know what I mean? We're going to have to go for the Pendolino to be different. I know we both have HSTs, and they did a very similar thing in the 70s. They got rid of a lot of the stuff that everybody loved. I'm just a bit more soppy about it because this is my era, really. It was the same thing. It was the same thing. The HSTs, they got rid of the Deltics. The Deltic got rid of the A4s, the A3s. It's just change. I don't like change. For some reason, I thought this route was a lot faster than this, if I'm honest. Cross country seems to be running a pretty intensive service on this line today. Well, they're saying that there was a couple of voyages coming through when I was at the station on Sunday. It was a really nice trip, actually. Pretty busy for a Sunday trip down. It was it'd come from Edinburgh. We got to Newcastle and did the weekend first upgrade, which I'm thoroughly recommend any of you do. So I mean, we were treated very, very nicely. I was rottenly hungover. Me and my friend who I travelled with were both incredibly hungover. We probably smelt like pubs still. And we got a nice comfy seat. We got well fed and watered. There was a masala wrap we had on Sunday. Beautiful. Beautiful. But the Mark IV set was turned out really nicely. It was clean. It still smelt. The leather seats in first class now still have that new car smell to them. I was really impressed. The crew were really nice. And the coach was incredibly smooth. I do forget how smooth running Mark IVs are. There is very little track noise on smooth track. You get sort of the air conditioning hum and that. Even the Armstrong Powerhouse version is even louder than it was in the coach we were in the other day. And they've now got these sort of passenger information screens that tell you what station's next and the departures and what platforms. So when we were pulling to Peterborough, I knew what platform we had to go over to get our train into Cambridge, because it had come up. I knew it anyway, but it'd come up on the screen, which was really nice. Now, as long as they can stay up to date, and they were in our whole journey, as long as they're correct, it's a bonus in my head. It really has felt like a proper refurb. They've done a good job with them. For now, knocking 30-year-old stock, 25, 30-year-old stock. They do a good job. We're a bit late getting into York. So we were 7 down when we left York. But that was quite nice, because on the way into York I saw one of the 55s, so one of the Deltics, and the Flying Scotsman was sitting at the National Railway Museum as well. So we got a good look at that. And my friend I was with, who is like one of my oldest friends, knows I like trains, but I was taking a few photos for Chris when I was there, and Chris was wondering what HSTs were on what ends when they came through and stuff, and my mate was absolutely howling. He was like, "You need to go away. Go if you're taking that photo, you need to go away. Go away, other end of the platform. Go away from me. Don't even come sit next to me if you've got your camera home." And there wasn't actually a camera; it was just my phone. But he was pretty anti it. But you know, even after about 10 minutes of us sitting there, he got a bit involved in it, because there was a pacer came through and he goes, "That just looks like a bus." I was like, "That's a pacer, that's what it kind of called." And he joined in by halfway down the route. He was what's that then? Where's that going? So it was amazing how much he did kind of pick up when we were there. He was pleased to see the Flying Scotsman. He even took a picture of that for his missus as well. So as much as a lot of people that hate the Flying Scotsman out there, it brings people who don't have anything to do with railways or even think about them. It brings trains into their mind, to their day-to-day sort of life. It was good. It was good. And I know that has its detrimental effects when you get absolute tools standing on the line trying to get photos of it and stuff, but anything that draws people's attention to rail and trains and photographing or taking numbers as a hobby is quite a nice thing. It's a civilised hobby. As long as you stick to the rules, you're not harming anybody either. I mean, it's not my thing. I mean, yeah, by all means, I can sit at a station for a couple of hours and watch trains, but I'm not chasing numbers or particularly worried about what's coming in next. I found that like real-time trains and open train times has kind of ruined it for me, because I kind of know what's coming. I kind of hark back to the old days of just sort of waiting to see what I see and being a bit excited when something fun comes, but being able to see them coming, on one hand it's a bonus, like knowing that the Azumas come past and stuff on the journey, Christmas tracking us, and that was really cool. But actually spotting the things that were coming in the platforms, I half wished it was just kind of how I used to know it, when you just sort of waited until it turned up. But another thing I was really pleased about when I was out is the cleanliness of trains. Everything looks pretty fresh at the minute. Newcastle station itself was stunning, really clean, really nicely presented. Staff were more than helpful on a few occasions, actually. But the trains, even the paces were spotless. Everything was really clean. I mean, I think back to even not that long ago when there was a lot of things were grimy. Don't get me wrong. Tell you what was really cool at Newcastle as well. They've got these. There's a tank on wheels that says coolant dispensers. Now I'm guessing they're for topping up sprinters and things like that, because that's what they had on the side. They had the Running Man logo of the sprinter on the side of them. I didn't get close enough to get a decent photo, but I thought they were just a really cool throwback to the British Rail days. I didn't spend much time looking for anything else, and I'm sure there are loads of things out there that you can spot. I quite like it when someone's been at a station and finds a little bit of Network South East somewhere, or like the odd bit of GNER or something like that. But they were nice to see. Why is that very quiet? Oh, I've broken it. Oh. Is that because I was braking? Oh, I think I've broken it. Oh, it's definitely broken. And B seems to open the front. It's a reasonably nice cab, these. I mean, it's very much like the Javelins. It's a sort of a Hitachi special. They're a lot better than this alloy. I wasn't a big fan of like the Voyager. What I always think of as the Voyager influx of that sort of grey white colour for cabs. I quite like this black. The 91's got it in the sharp end on the Mallard refurb. I quite like the sort of, the blunt end of the 91 with the black. Something about it just looks a lot better. I'm sure there's some sort of ergonomic reasons for it being white, or is it like alertness thing, I don't know. Or contrast thing so you can see the right buttons. God knows. So these things have got 140 mph top speed, but that's using ETCS, which is European Traffic Control Scheme. I think it is European Traffic Control System. But isn't that EMT? European Traffic Management System, isn't that? Which is basically cab signalling. So they've got 160 horsepower per axle. What? Oh, it's because it's got the bi-modes in here as well. So the bi-modes one have 750 horsepower per engine. Woohoo, 125. So in diesel mode they can only do 100. And depot wise they're going to be on the East Coast Main Line, Bounds Green, Doncaster Car and Craig and Tinney. So it's just coming up to Darlington. It's like a really grand station, isn't it, Darlington? I do quite like it. It's annoying we've got a bit of a sound issue there. Oh, nice pacer off on a trip there. Another 66, passing that, well, blocking that grand station I was talking about. It is nice. What is nicer is being able to get back up to 125. Oh, and then just to come down to 115 again. I did this, and I'll be honest with you, because I thought it was going to be a relatively quick one. I'm waiting to do a sort of first look and review on a pack that nice chaps been reskinning. He's done loads and loads of reskins for a certain brand and stuff. Not going to give anything away, but I was looking forward to doing that. But I'm having to copy about a bazillion geos over, so I'm just sort of taking it as easy as I can, really, so I don't bore myself to death by doing it and then hate the whole thing. Also been able to give this guy feedback about installers not working correctly and stuff like that, which has been an interesting part of it. Sort of testing, I suppose, alpha testing. The skins themselves, I think, are all complete. I think it is just sort of how people get them onto the computers and stuff. It's still in the works. And also pre-ordered the new Trainspotting World Great Western bit. I only paid the printing sum about 13 quid for it, because it had CSX heavy hull. Now, if this is as good as it's looking, I would have happily had that space for CSX heavy hull to sit there to get this new Great Western thing at that price. I think that's a bargain. Absolute bargain. There was a screenshot earlier, there was one station that had like a light dusting of snow. Now with CSX heavy haul there was a lot of thick snow. Being that part of the world does get a lot, here we're going to get little wisps of it. It was incredibly atmospheric. If you've not seen the latest screenshots, please go and have a look at them. There's no rolling stock in them, it is just scenery, and it is stunning. I mean, even bits like weeds growing up through track on disused lines, it just, or little used sidings even, just awesome. Got to be careful because this thing seems to have a DSD. If that goes off when I'm driving, I'd be very tempted to stop the whole video if I had to do an emergency brake now. I'm eating away at the miles quite nicely. This video's turned out a bit longer than I had planned. So I'm also really glad to see you guys have really enjoyed the Deltic videos. They seem to have gone down a storm. I will be doing some more of them just because it's so much fun. So much fun to drive. This, on the other hand, you know what I mean? I think that's why I'm a little bit flat in this video compared to what I have been driving with the Deltic. To come into this is chalk and cheese, absolute chalk and cheese. I do like the AI traffic and the quick drives of this. It's by far the best route for AI quick drives. not like Just Trains quick drives where you can have 166s in Scotland. There's also, just to go on to another tangent about Train Sim World, there was a little bit of sort of good news from the flight sim community recently with the addition of some of the Active Sky stuff within Flight Sim World. So that was showing that there was third-party developers involved in that and actually making things for it already. So that sort of gives me hope for Train Sim Heavy Haul, because my guess is they will sort of go down the same route with the flight sim stuff as they will with the train sim stuff. Yes, that is a guess. That isn't because I'm privy to any extra knowledge, as much as I'd like to be. That's a lie. You couldn't tell me, because if you told me, I'd tell everybody. You'd have to really, really have something tight to keep me quiet, to be fair. So by this point in my journey on Sunday, I'd have had 2 of the masala wraps, a couple of cans of Coke, and a bottle of fizzy water, and about 10 bottles of still water by about here. The woman with the trolley was hounded as soon as she came through the door into the coach. I was like, thank you. I'll tell you something else that's been quite fun the past couple of days. I've been doing a little bit of modelling with somebody. Yeah, that's it, top off modelling. No, railway modelling. And we had a Mark III coach kicking about and decided to make some form of Mark III single car DMU-y sort of thing. Well, this is how it started. This guy wanted it to have sort of a southern region-y feel. On the third rail, we didn't know if we were going to be a multiple car by that point or whatever. So we, it's going to be really hard to explain, adapted a HST cab so it sat flat against the end, so it was still like a slab frontage unit. And this ended up looking very much like the network, one of the proposed networkers. I can never remember what it was, the 3-7... something, no, you know, I'll have to, it's a bit like a Wessex is what it really is what it looked like, as you can kind of imagine. But I really enjoyed doing it, really enjoyed doing it. It looks really cool. It's been a long time since I've done some sort of cut and shut stuff with model trains. I used to quite a bit back in the day when I had like broken something and broken some botch bits together to see what it looked like. Come with sort of some fictional locos. And I'm not a very fictional person when it comes to railways. I get annoyed if the wrong livery's in the wrong time scenario. You know what I mean? If you've got something in 1999 and you've got a bit of BR large logo in it, it upsets my equilibrium in a very rigid way. But no, it's not. It doesn't cause me any distress. Don't worry. But that sort of thing. So making these sorts of things should be like a complete no-no for me, but it's not. I thoroughly enjoy it. And it's made me think. I don't think I've seen many actual completely fictional things in train sim. Apart from some of DTG's attempts at trains, but I think they've at least tried to be the real thing. I won't lie, guys, this train is incredibly tedious to boring to drive. Don't go out there and do it. I'm sure when it actually comes online, is it next year after these things start? It's 2018 they start coming online properly. Somebody will do an enhancement pack for them or modify some bits of them. To be fair, there probably some fixes out there that I've just not got yet. It's nice to see a proper Trans-Pennine Express 3-car. It's not Trans-Pennine Express, so there were Trans-Pennine 158s with the 3-car versions. What have we got in the oil train? A 60, nice. Oh, some news on those as well. Brad Harding of BH Reskins fame is doing a Class 60 pack. Get over to his page and have a look at some of the screens he's already shared. They're looking awesome. So do expect some massive Class 60 action. He's also upgraded the textures inside the cab as well. Changed a few of the colours around, get the orange right on the control desk. There's some quite exciting stuff coming up. Armstrong Powerhouse have also just announced that they're releasing a scenario pack for the Class 68 on the Wherry lines, which is another big thing I'm looking forward to. Armstrong Powerhouse scenarios are always, I don't think I've ever done a crap one. There may be one or two out there, but not that I know of. So I'm really looking forward to those. So yeah, for the train sim community, we've actually got quite a lot to look forward to. If you've gone for Train Sim World, that is. But no worries if you haven't, because Train Sim Classic like this is not dead. It's nowhere near dead. I am sort of looking for, they'd usually announce it by now. I'm going to see what they're going to do with the name of this. Are they going to keep it at Train Sim 2017? Are they just going to change it to Train Sim Classic come September? Because it would be coming up to the point where they would be messing about with the UI and maybe the odd bug fix here and there. But I think bug fix wise they've done a lot of, well, mainly all of what they're going to do. It's the actual core engine of the game, the sim itself. They can't do much more with it. But whether they do throw something in and call it 2018, I don't know. Whether they just say, right, we're going to focus on doing this and call it Train Sim Classic, I don't know. There's also a few other things on the horizon. Some of you will have seen that I'll have put a Fern Bus video up. Now, I'm not expecting that to be everybody's cup of tea. I'll be honest, it wasn't particularly mine when I started, but by the time I'd finished, I'd quite enjoyed it. I'd quite enjoyed the drive. It was quite nice. So I do expect a bit more of that. I don't expect you to watch them, don't worry. I'm not offended if you don't. It's not going to take me away from Train Simulator, put it that way. The only time I'll do Fern Bus videos is if I have time, if I have a bit of extra time here and there. And And with it being the, well, actually it was quite funny, the reason I got that bit of extra time to that video was it's the kids' summer holidays, and the missus sort of booted me out before work the other day and said, go and get some videos done, otherwise you're not going to get any more time. And it meant I had like an extra hour and a bit, so I thought, oh, I'll give it a go. And it's quite nice to see some of the other Facebook train sim guys at the minute back on the scene a little bit more. Quite Afro's back. I don't know if any of you guys watch him. I can watch him for a bit. Some of his stuff's quite hilarious to watch. Some of it's not my cup of tea. But he's finished uni now, so there's a little bit more of him going on. He's focusing a little bit more on Twitch at the minute by the looks of things, though not neglecting YouTube, which he could have been for a while. Don't blame him, had his exams to do and things like that, and sometimes real life takes over. PTG Rail, he's also had a few videos coming back up recently. Again, he's been focusing quite a lot on the German side of things again, which is always quite nice. I mean, I can't say I'm massively interested in the German thing, but for the odd different thing to watch, I'll give him a watch every now and again. His videos are very set sort of script of what they are, really. They're route learning videos or train or class videos. They are what they are, and if you're in the mood for one of them, he's the best out there for it. I haven't had a chance to watch much of Mr. Pedalston himself. I caught a bit of a stream the other night, maybe 10-15 minutes of one, but that's really been about it. Even he was uploading a lot more on YouTube recently, which has been nice. I think I was quite lucky. A lot of people flocked away from YouTube just as I really started to sort of get a little bit bigger. So Quirty Afro definitely wasn't, PTG Rail definitely wasn't, Matt Pedalston definitely wasn't uploading. So it was sort of quite lucky for me. I'll see how my watch figures do now that they're all back up and running. See how we go. But again, thank you guys for subscribing and carrying on watching. Does put a smile on my face and some more DLC on my computer. Oh, and also just to add, because I know somebody will say it, the money that was bought, that I bought Fernbus with, was not YouTube money. I was making myself very clear about this, because I've always been quite clear what I do with my YouTube money, and that is that it goes back into train sim or hardware for playing train sim. Now, hardware wise, yes, the hardware has played the Fernbus thing, but the actual money for Fernbus was on a Steam gift card I got for an anniversary present, so I used that. But the Train Sim World Great Western add-on was bought with YouTube money. As this month also were a few other Armstrong Powerhousey bits, so do expect to see some more of those coming on. I'm just waiting to get a few more reskin stuff downloads before I do any of those. There's a few bits and pieces I need to pick up before I do any of the scenarios that come with some of the packs and stuff I've bought. So it's 5.5 miles outside York. It's quite strange it doesn't make any noise. But yeah, I mean, I try to keep the out of the train stuff to a minimum on my videos, as you guys know, but the livery on this I quite like. And we've got to come right down on my brakes now. I knew this was coming up and it had to be the point I peeked out the cab for. But nice, so this would be like, we're going to call this a test run video, I think. Tell you what's really cool that I saw yesterday as well. There's a bit of a hill further up here, and there's a guy that's obviously, well, I'm not saying a guy, it could be a girl, has put a garden chair, like a garden bench, on the hill at the top of their back garden so they can just sit and watch the trains. I was in awe at that. What a beautifully good idea. And if I lived right next to the railway line like that, I definitely would have done the same. Without a doubt, I'd have done it. And I mean, there's not probably a better place, I wouldn't think. Well, it depends on what you like, really. I'm an East Coast man, so the York is pretty important to me anyway. But for seeing cool things, it's a pretty good spot to have in it. It's another beautiful station. I think that is us making that noise. Alright, and guys, thank you ever so much for joining me on that much longer run than was expected. Please feel free to like, share and subscribe to the video. Please don't forget to check out the Facebook page. It's going quite well. We've had lots of cool discussions going on recently. Some silliness even, some joking around. It's been a good laugh. So get yourselves over there if you want to. And I'll catch you guys soon.